HorrorCast.
Welcome to hell. It's showtime.
Hey, this is Dena.
This is Tony.
And welcome to this episode of the HorrorCast for November 2014, your podcast for all things horror related. It has been a long time since we recorded one of these. I've basically moved 3 times since the last HorrorCast, but I think I'm finally settled for a while. And I hope to go back to making not only HorrorCast episodes, but videos in general on some kind of regular basis soon.
Yay!
For now, we've got a lot of Silent Hill stuff to talk about after the intro, and we've gotten some other stuff out of the way. But first of all, is there anything you wanted to plug or update or talk about?
Yeah, I have moved myself, actually. I moved a whole 30 feet to the house behind me. So, yeah, but on the upside, don't have to pay rent. Just pay bills. So,
nice.
Yay for that. So, saves me like $300 a month. Oh, I have a new favorite YouTuber. He is awesome. You must check him out. His name is Markiplier. He is funny as hell. Check him out. He does the funniest Let's Plays, and normally I do not like Let's Players. Sorry guys, it's just not my thing. But Markiplier is completely hilarious. He has a very unique take on things, and it's really fun. So check him out on YouTube, Markiplier.
I did watch one of his videos in regards to something we're going to talk about later, and he's pretty good. He's pretty entertaining.
Yeah, if you must start out on something, I highly recommend his Let's Play of Surgeon Simulator. That is probably one of his funniest things, in my opinion.
Cool. I have one little thing to plug before I start rambling about a whole lot of other things.
Right.
I recently did my Silent Hill related video. This time it was 5 things I hate about Silent Hill Revelation 3D. So check that out if you're interested. It's in my section on Channel Awesome under Filmed In. Also, this isn't a plug or anything, but I just wanted to mention, because I don't know where else to fit it in, that Twin Peaks, of all things, is coming back. David Lynch is bringing it back, and Kyle MacLachlan is on board. Apparently, it's going to pick up with the characters like 20 years later, or however long it's been since the series ended. I'm not sure how that's going to work, because the original series ended on a hell of a cliffhanger, but there you go. I just wanted to put that out there.
Now, this is what I was wondering, because is this going to be like on TV, or is this going to be like a Netflix thing?
You know what? That part I don't know. I think there hasn't been really that much information about it yet. It's like kind of in the planning stages from what I got, from what I read about it. So I actually don't know.
Because I know that Netflix is starting to develop like their own series, like House of Cards and and the like. So I didn't know if this was going to be like a. I think they're doing a Daredevil series also.
That's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Don't quote me on that, but I think they're trying to do a Daredevil show on Netflix, and. Arrested Development, even though I've never seen the show, they got the next season on it's being developed by Netflix. So this just kind of seems like, okay, this seems like something that would be on like Netflix originals, even though it's not really a Netflix original.
It does sound like something that Netflix would do.
Yeah.
At this point. So yeah. Also, for anyone who has not seen the original Twin Peaks, Tony. The original series is on Netflix. It's only like 2 seasons long. Everybody needs to watch it. It's crazy. It's really interesting.
Yeah, I've heard things about it. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Okay.
No, it's not bad. It's just I've just heard that it's like the entire show's like a giant acid trip.
It is kind of, but it's one of the things that influenced the Silent Hill games, so You know, I watched it partly for that reason and partly because Netflix just kept on suggesting it to me. So I eventually went, fine, I'll watch it.
Okay, then.
So yeah, but I'm glad I watched it though.
Yeah.
I actually really got into it, and I love it actually.
Oh, also, one last thing for me to plug. I have a new favorite game. This is I got it on Steam about, I want to say like 6 months ago, and I doubt anybody will understand why I love it, but I do. It's Game Developer Tycoon.
Oh.
It's I fucking love it. It's amazing. Okay,
So
it's like a strategy game where you basically have your own gaming studio, and you try to make games based on different categories and genres. You develop your own engine and everything, and it's just awesome.
it sounds very meta.
It is. It is. I mean, there's like little things where you can get like an achievement for naming certain games in a certain way. It's like I will call this game Okami, and you get like an achievement for that. Like you named the game after a current game or something like that, and it's just like, okay. So
Is it like Roller Coaster Tycoon or whatever, where you have to like try to get people to buy your game, or
no? Oh, well, yeah, well, yes. I mean, you have to hire like a full staff. There's like research and there's a research and development room. There's a laboratory where you can make your own consoles and stuff like that. You can eventually start your own convention. And
I could see that. I could see that being addictive.
yeah, oh my god, it is. Okay, yeah, that was escalated. But I mean,
that escalated quickly.
yes, exactly, yeah. But you know, you have to upgrade your staff members' abilities, and as their levels increase, you have to pay them more. You know, it's just really fun. It's a time waster, and I love it.
So, I just saw BeetleJuice in the theater, sort of. It's a local Sacramento thing called Trash Film Orgy, and it's at the Crest Theater downtown, though apparently they won't be doing it anymore after this year.
Oh.
When the movie was actually playing, it was great, but when it wasn't, I wasn't so much into it. I mean, it's called Trash Film Orgy, and it generally lives up to that. I think last year they showed Pink Flamingos, so...
Oh my god!
That should give you an idea of the type of humor that crowd tends to like. They did a live show before the movie for like 45 minutes, and I appreciate the work that must go into that, but it just wasn't for me. I'm just not into that scene.
Okay, I have a confession. I have never seen BeetleJuice.
What? Oh my god.
Not all the way through. I've tried. I've tried. It just, okay, I loved the cartoon growing up as a kid, but I tried watching the movie. It just does not appeal to me. It's just kind of tacky.
Well, see, the thing about BeetleJuice is when they were, you know, like in the trailers and such for the movie when it first came out, they were making it seem like it was all about this character Beetlejuice, and it's really not about him. It's about Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin's characters. It's really about them and how they die and how they have to deal with being ghosts.
Alec Baldwin before he went batshit insane.
Yeah. It's really about those two, and when I first saw it, I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like, okay, where's Beetlejuice?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's, you know, maybe a half hour into the movie before he even shows up. So, I mean, I think once you get past that, it's decent. You know, if you like Tim Burton movies, I guess they aren't for everybody, but I personally love Tim Burton's style, so.
Tim Burton's always been hit or miss with me. It's just, don't get me started on that fucking Planet of the Apes movie.
See, I kind of enjoy that movie as a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, stylistically, it's great.
Yeah.
But they really seemed to want to amp up the man on female monkey sexual tension in there, which is just like weird.
That was kind of there. I didn't think it was that. I don't think it was as blatant as some people make it out to be.
Personally, I loved it in the original. It was like, I like to kiss you.
The original was awesome.
I like to kiss you goodbye. Okay, but you're so damn ugly. Like,
that was cute.
Loved it, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. What I wanted was to just see Beetlejuice on the big screen because I didn't get to see it in the theater when it first came out. But this was more like watching a movie at someone's house with a room full of people and they're all shouting at the screen.
Yeah, I would have punched somebody. I could not deal with that.
I actually did still enjoy it. It's not like I hadn't seen Beetlejuice before, and some of the stuff people said was funny. Mm-hmm. Although I guess you haven't seen all of Beetlejuice, so you might not remember this part, but there's a scene where Winona Ryder's character is writing a suicide note, and she's trying to be like as dramatic as possible. And she writes, I am alone, and then she starts over, I am utterly alone. By the time you read this, I will be dead, having jumped, and she scratches it out, having plummeted off the bridge.
Winona Ryder was, like, in my opinion, like the first emo in that movie. She was just,
she wasn't, I don't know that she was emo so much as goth, but there's a bit of emo. But
yeah.
Anyway, during this scene, someone yelled out, still better than Twilight! That was funny.
Yeah, Pink Flamingos is better than Twilight, but that's for that's a whole nother issue. The final scene of Pink Flamingos is better than all of the Twilight movies. But
Ouch.
Anyway, I can't say that because I hate to say it, but Twilight is a guilty pleasure of mine. Like
I can understand it as a guilty pleasure. It's when people think it's legitimately good that it hurts.
Yeah.
them.
I don't want to like it, but I do for some reason. It's like, I'll still talk shit about it. It's like, this is ridiculous. But then, Alice comes in and everything is fine. So,
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Beetlejuice, it's like everyone cheered during certain, like every time Beetlejuice showed up, everybody cheered and everyone sang along with the Harry Belafonte bit. So it actually was kind of fun. But yeah, I no longer feel like I used to have it kind of almost on my bucket list, I guess you could say, to experience like Rocky Horror on the big screen. But I kind of feel like I have now. Even though it was Beetlejuice, I feel like it's pretty much the same experience. I'd always wanted to see it because I've always heard like about how, when you see Rocky Horror in the theater, like at midnight or whatever, people like shout things at the screen. And
I have yet to do that because I've heard horror stories about like the people that okay, I have seen Rocky Horror. I don't want to get that misconstrued.
Yeah, and for the record, I have too. I've seen it a bunch of times.
But if it's your first time in the theater watching Rocky Horror, you have to go through some hazing rituals.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Like, I know one in particular because they have one of these here. They get two people, it could be one guy, one girl, like same sex, opposite, whatever. They put a balloon in between their crotches, and they have to press up against each other until the balloon pops. And just like, okay. It's just, stuff like that. It's just kind of like you people have a lot of time on your hands, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel the need to do that anymore. I just felt like it was one of those things I should probably do at some point because some people think it's a lot of fun seeing Rocky Horror live. Not in the theater, I mean. But I kind of feel like I've basically experienced that at this point.
There you go.
Just with my experience with Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
But anyway, they also re-released Ghostbusters in the theater recently, and I got to see that too in a normal theater. This was early in September, so they probably aren't still showing it, but it was a really cool experience. I had not seen Ghostbusters on the big screen before. Coincidentally, Lee and I both ended up paying special attention to Egon this time and all the little things he does, and like Egon is our favorite Ghostbuster now.
Oh.
Yeah, Egon. Egon is best Ghostbuster.
Yeah, well, in the movies, I like Egon. In the cartoon, I always like Peter. A little bit of trivia.
Go ahead.
You know who originally was supposed to play Peter Venkman in the movie?
I don't think I knew this actually. Who?
John Belushi.
Oh, that sounds familiar. I think I have heard that.
Yeah, and I honestly don't think it would have worked if John Belushi would have played Peter Venkman in the movie. I legitimately don't think it would have worked.
It's really hard to imagine anyone other than Bill Murray playing that character.
Yeah. But now he doesn't want to play it again, and there's going to be an all-female cast for the next one.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Which is fine. You know, I'm not okay. I'm gonna cut off all the people that are gonna call me a sexist. I am totally okay with an all-female cast of Ghostbusters. But I would like to have at least one of the original actors there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I actually agree with that, and I would hope nobody would call you sexist for that. Yeah. But we've been wanting a third Ghostbusters movie forever, and you know, we want to see the original cast in it. You know, obviously that's not completely possible. You know, with Harold Ramis's passing. But
hell, I wouldn't care if Ernie Hudson was the Ghostbuster that was there. I mean,
now you're racist, cause
I say that because Winston is highly underrated. He hasn't, except for the game that was out on the Xbox 360. He hasn't been in any of the games.
Yeah, well, I know all the old games, you know, they only had like 3 Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
To honestly, I have to admit, I kind of sometimes forget about Winston because he doesn't show up until like halfway through the movie.
He's a very underrated. He
doesn't really do a lot. I mean, he definitely adds something.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like Venkman and Egon and Ray are all kind of the focus.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. It does seem like he's in there to be the token black guy, which is unfortunate. But
yeah,
I thought he did it. I thought he did a good job.
So at the time we're recording this, Halloween is just around the corner, although this probably won't get uploaded until shortly after Halloween. But with it being Halloween season, I guess, I've been really in the mood for Hellraiser movies. Also, I have not seen the direct-to-video ones, so I'm curious about those.
Do not see Revelation.
I will. I will see all of them.
Oh my god.
But I need to see for myself if they're really as bad as people say. And yes, that includes the final one.
It's like the original. Okay, I keep Bradley is not Pinhead, so it is not Hellraiser. That is all I have to say about that.
I know, that's like having someone other than Robert Englund play Freddy Krueger. Oh wait, that happened too.
Yeah, about to say, they did that.
No, but so far I've only watched up to Bloodline. Well, you know, actually backtracking for a second, the funny part is I didn't even know that the direct-to-video sequels existed until like a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And I look it up on Netflix, all of a sudden, oh, there's like 8 Hellraiser movies, and I was thinking there was only 4.
Yeah, those are like the 4 they acknowledge. The other ones are just like genetic.
After the 4th one was the one where Clive Barker's like, okay, I'm done with this shit. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it.
It's just like, am I gonna get paid? Yeah, all right, go ahead.
But yeah. So as far as rewatching them, so far I'm only up to Bloodline. Like I just watched that one a couple weeks ago. I think the next one up is Inferno, which I've actually heard some good things about, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm really into Hellraiser now. I think it's time. I normally don't like to talk about what I'm going to talk about on the Film Den, but I think it's time I started covering those movies on the Film Den. I'm actually really excited about that idea, so I couldn't resist.
Spoilers!
Yeah, spoiler.
I have not seen all of the Hellraiser movies, but I have seen a good majority of them. I still like the first one the best. It got a little silly when it was like Pinhead in space. You know,
I actually thought that one was handled pretty well as far as I didn't feel like the sci-fi aspect was too out of place.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they didn't handle it well. It's still just the whole concept of
Yeah.
like, okay, where else can we take this? How about we put them in space? Fucking brilliant.
The next one should have been Pyramid Head. The next one should have been Pinhead in the Hood.
Yeah. Oh. Actually, that was a little bit of trivia. That was actually a thought for a Hellraiser movie. But they didn't do it because they thought it would have been too offensive. But they did Leprechaun in the Hood or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
Yeah, but that I still wish to Almighty Buddha that they would have gotten the original ending for Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, I think I read about this yesterday.
That would have... Okay, for those that don't know, the original ending... I don't know if it was an original or an alternate ending, was that, they would get sucked down into hell and they were still fighting, and then a figure comes out and forcibly, like, he uses, like, force push or whatever to separate them, and it's Pinhead, and he just says, "Gentlemen, what's all this?" And then it's just like credits.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
But they couldn't get the rights to use Pinhead, so they didn't use it, which sucks.
I'm sorry, I love Freddy and all, but I think Pinhead would have owned both of their asses.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Pinhead's Pinhead is awesome. I mean, I've only seen, like I said, I've only seen the first 4 movies so far, and like the third is pretty bad. It's got some good stuff in it, but it's pretty bad. But the fourth one is pretty good, but still has some bad. But like Pinhead is, consistently awesome in all of them so far.
Don't cry. It's a waste of good suffering. Love that line.
That's so good. He has so many good. We have such sights to show you.
Oh, such a good series.
He brings so much like elegance to that role.
Yeah, such an underrated franchise in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you think of like good horror franchises, first ones they think of are Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th. Hardly anybody that I can think of or that I know brings up Hellraiser, and then they're like, oh yeah, they did do a Hellraiser franchise. Oh god.
And people seem to semi-forget that there's more than 2 movies in the series. I mean, the first 2 are the best, definitely, but I think people kind of forget that. They're like, oh yeah, there were a couple of Hellraiser movies, and
Yeah, it could be worse. It could have been. Could be.
You know what? It's the Silent Hill of horror movies. It's like.
Well, I don't know.
I feel like Silent Hill is a little bit overrated. Underrated. I feel like the Silent Hill series is a little bit underrated.
Someone with the Freudian slip.
Nah.
Yeah.
But like, it seems like whenever someone mentions survival horror, it's always Resident Evil.
Yeah.
That gets mentioned, and then maybe I'm off there. Whatever.
I'm actually on a Silent Hill fan group on Facebook, and instead of like Silent Hill stuff, they keep bringing up is like they always start out with, okay, this is like 50% of the posts in this chat group. Okay, this isn't Silent Hill related, but what do you think about The Evil Within? It's like everybody. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we've seen it. It's a game. It's good. Shut up about it.
Well, I can kind of understand how people wouldn't want to talk about Silent Hill too much right now because we're kind of in, we're in a gap between two games. It's like people are probably tired of talking about Downpour, and the new Silent Hill game hasn't come out yet.
I still have not played. I still have not played Downpour or Homecoming. I want to.
Yeah, I recommend giving Homecoming a shot. It's definitely not for me because it's way too fight strategy oriented for me. I can't. I'm not a good enough gamer to play that one.
You gotta be shitting me.
I love that line. I'm going to use that forever.
Yes, that will never get.
I personally really enjoyed Downpour. So
Downpour actually looks really It actually looks really interesting. So that's the main reason why, and no Pyramid Head.
Yeah.
So,
except in a joke ending, but
yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah, joke endings are fine. And speaking of Pyramid Head, we have something about him later.
Yeah, I like how we're already talking about Silent Hill, and we're up to the Silent Hill.
We might as well just rename this podcast Silent Hill Cast.
The Silent Hill Cast. I've made that joke before.
But no, not another name change. We already went through that.
The less said about that, the better.
Yeah.
So recently, some videos have come out on the internet showing a playable teaser for a new Silent Hill game that's being worked on. We got a lot of requests to talk about it. Basically, it looks like you're going through the same part of a house and you're stuck in a loop. And it seems like every time you go through something is a little bit different. I liked it. Keep in mind that it's a teaser and may very well have nothing to do with the story that the final game will have. This was probably put together to show off visuals and the general feel that they plan to have for the final game. And as for the first-person view, I personally think they did that just to hide from us what the main character looks like, because isn't that an actor from The Walking Dead or something?
Yes, it is. Mr. Norman Reedus, also known as Durrell. Also known as the man with the crossbow. Also known as the redneck you don't want to fuck with during the zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
Okay. Have you not watched Walking Dead?
I was gonna get to that. No, I have not watched The Walking Dead yet.
Oh.
About the first person thing, I could be wrong there, but if they are having a recognizable actor as the main character, I doubt they go with a first person view.
Yeah, but that doesn't really. I mean, they did that with the arcade thing, but I mean,
that's a light gun game.
Yeah, that's a light gun game, and that switching it from third to first person just would not make sense in this aspect.
I mean, for the demo, I thought it worked. It's just I personally don't think that's what they're eventually going to go with.
Yeah. Also, they said in the teaser, this is not what the game will look like. This is a work in progress, and people lost their shit.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second too.
Okay, go.
But people want to know what I think of it, and honestly, there isn't that much to go by. If you watch my Game Den videos, I generally judge a Silent Hill game by its story and how that plays out more than anything else. So I can't really say whether or not this is going to be a good game or a bad game based on this. I do like the visuals, and I think the atmosphere is great. It could be a really good Silent Hill game, maybe. Some people are just totally going on bitch fits about the jump scare. I personally did not like it either. I thought it was kind of cheap and obvious, but, it's a demo. Relax. The actual game has not even been finished yet, so, give it a chance. Other than that, like I said, I'm not really familiar with any of the names attached to the game. I mean, I played Metal Gear Solid a little bit, but that's about my only experience with Kojima's games. I don't think I've seen any of Del Toro's movies, and like I said, I haven't even watched The Walking Dead, so...
You're just a terrible, terrible horror person.
Yeah, I'm just that obligatory chick that doesn't even like horror. What do I know?
Yeah, but okay.
But just
Have you seen Have you seen Blade 3 or Blade 2?
3? Oh,
Blade.
Blade 2?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Never mind then. Those are the only those are the only two Guillermo del Toro movies I have seen that I can think of.
I want to see Blade 2 because the guy who plays the cat from Red Dwarf is in it.
Well, as long as you have a good reason.
No, I want to see both of those movies. I want to see. I didn't even know there were 3. Oh yeah, I think I did. I think wasn't the third one the one that was covered on Bad Movie Beatdown?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't feel the need to see that one, but I want to see the first 2.
I like Blade 3 because of Ryan Reynolds. He is funny in that. But you know.
But anyway, going back to the Silent Hill game, I'll pretty much be going into it blind, which I think is a good thing. I think far too many Silent Hill fans go into new games with the mindset that it's not going to be any good, or at least it's not going to be as good as the earlier games anyway, and they just kind of zero in on every little thing that they think probably won't work, and they just sour themselves on the final product before they even play it. So I try to go in with as few expectations as possible and just, let the chips fall.
Yeah, this whole thing, I mean, think about it. You have Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro working together on a Silent Hill game. I now have a reason to buy a next-gen console.
Wow.
I'll just say it this way, or a current gen, or whatever you want to call it. I now have a reason to buy a PS4 or an Xbone, whatever they put it out on. If they put it out on PC, I doubt it, but if they do, that save me like $500. Glorious PC master race. Anyway.
You're one of those gamers.
No, not entirely, but it's just right now that's all I have to play my games on because my nephew's borrowing my 360, and if he breaks it, I will kill him. But yeah, I saw the teaser. I actually really enjoyed it. It was really cool. I watched other people. Of course, I watched Markiplier, his video through it. It's like 30-something minutes of it or whatever. And then there was the live, when it first debuted for the first time. I want to say at E3. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was at E3. And then when it said Silent Hills, the crowd just went like. and then when Norman Reedus turned around to the camera, everybody lost their collective shit. Because the idea of being able to play as Norman Reedus in Silent Hill, I mean, that's an instant seller right there. Mm-hmm. But what part was there? Any particular part of the of the teaser that really got to you, aside from the jump scares that you didn't like?
I just thought the whole, like, I like how you hear the little ambient sounds of like children crying and stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it's almost like overused at this point, but it's effective. I have to admit it's effective. There's this point where like he goes into the bathroom and there's something in the sink, and it looks sort of like it's a fetus. Yeah, but you know what it looked like to me? Maybe I'm on crack, but I think it looked like in slight Silent Hill 3 spoiler where Heather throws up the fetus.
To me, at first, it looked like a stomach with a mouth. It was like, stomach with mouth? Why are you talking? It's like
a baby's stomach with a mouth.
Yeah, I love how that's my first response. It's like, stomach, why are you talking? Yeah.
No, but it reminded me of that scene in Silent Hill 3 where Heather vomits up the fetus. God, that's such a weird thing to say. But anyway, that's what happened in Silent Hill 3. But it looked like that same thing, maybe. I'm kind of going by memory. I haven't seen that bit in a while. But to me, it kind of looked like that. I don't know if that was intentional or what. But it
might have been probably like as a callback or something.
Yeah, but yeah, that was kind of interesting, and I just kind of like how you're going through the same room over and over. You know, they say that hell is repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of got that feeling, like being stuck in the same place or having to experience the same thing over and over. And I kind of got that feeling. But I like how everything is just things are just a little bit different, apparently, every time you go through this room.
Yeah.
And I know at one point everything just goes batshit crazy, and like there's red lighting, and all the pictures on the walls are like giant eyeballs that are like looking around.
And the talking grocery bag.
Oh yeah, I can't believe I forgot that. That was really random.
Like, there is only one of me. Are you sure there's only one of you? The fuck does that mean? I mean, oh my god. I mean, I don't know if they're just trying to be confusing. If they are, it's working. But
yeah,
it's just,
yeah. Looking back on it, it's really kind of funny and weird. But at the time it was happening, I'm just like, what the fuck?
exactly. Then there was the second, well, not a second one, but the official first trailer for it, where you were being chased by this headless figure down a hallway or something.
Oh wow, I didn't see that one. I thought I did all my homework, but apparently I didn't. Well, here's what happened. Here's my experience. The first video I saw that was, I think, posted on Kotaku or something was just like some female gamer playing it, and she kept talking through the whole thing, and like she sounded like a Valley girl, and I just like completely ruined the experience for me.
Oh my god, I am like such
she's
a
like,
gamer.
oh my god, it's a Silent Hill game. I'm like, oh god, it just ruined the whole experience.
Like, OMG, I am like such a gamer girl. Like, I got my Xbox controller.
But yeah, I hate to be that person, but yeah, it really ruined the experience for me, and I just sort of like shut my brain off. People are like, what do you think about this Silent Hill game? I'm like, I don't know, whatever. Right. But I really should have, looked up more videos, but I just, kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, and so anyway, to prepare for this, I went to IGN's YouTube. And I watched the first video, which was awesome. Clearly the person playing that one knew what they were doing, and they knew where to look, and there was tension, but it wasn't like tedious to watch. But then like there's a so-called part 2, which I don't even think picks up where part 1 left off, and the person just sat there and like stared at the clock for a full 2 minutes.
Wow.
And I recommend watching, if you have not seen the gameplay videos, I recommend watching IGN's playthrough part 1, and load up part 2, and then like if you want to see the whole demo, like if you want to see the end of the demo where they reveal the main character and everything, just bump it up to about 4 minutes before the end and just watch the ending of the second video, because like I got so frustrated watching part 2. That person just kept stopping and like, I'm just going to stare down this hallway for 2 minutes.
It's like, stare at the door all you want. It ain't gonna open.
I think in some cases that person knew something was going to happen, but like they were a little too early, and they're like, I'm just going to sit here and wait for this thing to play out.
Yeah.
And
like, okay, last time this happened, so I'm just going to wait and see if it happens again. It's like, no. That's not cool.
That was a weird rant to get on, but anyway, it's just that's my experience with that. So you were saying, before I got off on a tangent, you were saying that there was another trailer where you're running from something?
Yeah, it's basically you're kind of in the same area, and this I don't know how I don't know how they say that it's a headless body of a woman, but apparently it's a headless body of a woman with one arm dragging her body down the hallway, and it's like a gigantic body chasing you down the hallway, and you like look around, you go into a door, head downstairs, I believe, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, stairs, my one weakness, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a survival horror game.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. They were
I'll have
still
to check that out. It sounds interesting.
They were still doing the first person thing, but I think that was still just to kind of show off the visuals and whatnot, because we all know what Norman Reedus looks like. We gotta have a, well, you don't, because you don't watch The Walking Dead. But
I know what he looks like because I watched the end of the gameplay trailer. So meh.
Oh, fine then. You're like, oh, I'm Dena. I do things logically. Anyway, but
that's debatable. But anyway.
Well, but yeah, it was just another way to show off the mechanics, the effects, and the visuals of how everything was going to go down, and it looks really, really amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the graphics are just like I can't get over how good the graphics.
Oh
look.
yeah.
There's this little, like, when your character wakes up in the beginning, and there's this little cockroach skittering around in front of your face on the floor, and it's just the crazy amount of detail in everything, textures and everything.
It's the little things that really make something like that stand out. It really, really is. Okay, so raise of hands here, show of hands. Who all has played Half-Life 2? Really, all of you? That's amazing.
I played a demo of it.
That counts. Well, I say this because I did a little bit of lurking around. If any game that likes to be modded, or is very popular to be modded, it is Half-Life 2, because it's the engine is still good, the visuals are still amazing. It's a fucking awesome game. Yeah. Well, there is a mod out now. Well, not out. I mean, it's been out for a while, but it basically turns Half-Life 2 into Silent Hill. The mod is Silent Hill Alchemilla. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay, I'm going on what I see. Alchemilla. And it's supposed to it's supposed to actually give the original atmosphere of Silent Hill, with the monsters, the psychological terror, and it's going to have its own missions and quests. So it's basically Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill, in first person.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm all about this. I am so all about this.
I watched a couple of videos. It kind of reminds me, with the first person view and everything, it kind of reminds me of Silent Hill 4.
Yeah, that
apartment.
Yeah, that was really kind of like my first inkling, and then you get to watch it and everything, and it's the only the only unfortunate part is that it's still in a demo mode, meaning that it's not fully completed yet, but they're still working on it. So that's good. Their last update was in September of this year, so I mean, obviously they're still working on it. And if they actually get this done, I might actually do a let's play of this, because this
nice.
looks freaking awesome.
Hopefully there will be a link below.
But in all seriousness, when I say that they recreate the atmosphere and the look, they go well and beyond what I thought just like a general modder would do. I mean, these are like awe-inspiring visuals. They really, really are.
It definitely feels like a Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of like I thought could have been better is like some of the prose, like in the notes that you find and stuff, is like kind of obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like the Silent Hill games had a little more subtlety in their clues and stuff like that, and this one is, you know,
kind of hold your hand.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I did watch the Let's Play that Markiplier did, and that was pretty entertaining. It kind of like killed the suspense a little bit with the way he, you know, he's really goofy.
Yeah, but I mean, to me that's part of his charm. I mean,
yeah, I'm not like, you know, criticizing him or anything. It's just I don't think I would want to watch. Like if I was seeing a horror game for the first time, I don't think I would necessarily want to watch it that way.
I would, because depending on the horror game, because his reactions to some of them are fucking priceless. Because
you have good reactions to things.
Yeah, let me see, what was a good one? There was a fan-made Jeff the Killer game. Okay, please tell me you know who Jeff the Killer is.
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a creepypasta.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I haven't really listened to any of those. So
I've just gotten into them, and Jeff the Killer is like my favorite one so far. Yeah, big shock, I know. That's like saying Dragon Ball Z is your favorite anime. But there's a there's a shit ton of fan-made Jeff the Killer games, but this one, you know, he chases you around this abandoned building or warehouse while you're trying to place cameras, and his reactions to everything he does is just amazing. It's just hilarious.
So, Tony thinks he's gonna school me on Silent Hill 2.
Oh, okay. Not school. Must clarify. Not school. Simply give a different perspective.
Okay, fair enough.
James was dead the entire time. No. No, okay. I've thought about this for a really long time. I have a theory regarding Pyramid Head, James, and his appearance, and Pyramid Head's appearance in the subsequent games. And I even talked to Guy Seehee about this, and I did not call him James. And his reaction was priceless. I literally just said, "Hey, I'm basically writing this essay about for the HorrorCast about why Pyramid Head is in so many of the other games and the movies," and his response is, "You mean besides the money?" It's like fucking priceless. I love it.
Yeah.
I would normally agree, but hopefully this gives me some validation. If nothing else, some points for creativity. It just, if nothing else, this just shows I have a very vapid imagination. Okay, here goes. The Pyramid Head theory. Dun dun dun. Okay. We all know about the appearance of Pyramid Head in Silent Hill 2 and the general reason why. But is he the antagonist? I would say yes and no. He is, and yet he's not. I would suggest to you that James is both the protagonist and the antagonist of Silent Hill 2. Yes, James is Pyramid Head. And I will attempt to explain his existence in Silent Hill 2, Homecoming, Arcade, and even the shitty movies.
Besides the money.
Yeah, besides the money. Some would say fan service, and I would mostly agree. But I believe I have come up with a legitimate reason. Okay, let's start off with Silent Hill 2. Pyramid Head is first seen in Silent Hill 2 in Woodside Apartments behind a wall of bars that separates him and James. Later on, that they have a quote-unquote encounter in room 307 where he's basically sexually assaulting two mannequin monsters. I will never get that visual out of my head. He then makes his way to where James is hiding. James shoots him. Pyramid Head yells like a dog in heat and leaves. No one else... See, and the odd part is no one else even seems to notice Pyramid Head but James. Kind of like how, spoilers, in Silent Hill 3, how... or you could argue in Silent Hill 1 also that the inhabitants of the town appear to them as monsters, as Vincent eloquently put it. The only exception is Maria, but I'll get to that later. Also, a little factoid, if you look at Pyramid Head's great knife and Angela's knife, where you see her splayed out, looking in the mirror, going, "Oh, it's you." They're essentially identical, except for the size. Think about that. Also, Pyramid does not seem to have that weapon until after his encounter, until James has his encounter with Angela. So, you know.
That's interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah, so I mean, if I'm wrong, but I've looked at it all different sorts of angles, haven't seen it until then. Then there's the first encounter in the first official encounter in the Blue Creek apartments. You cannot kill him, you cannot hurt him. All you can do is run and avoid him until the siren blares and he leaves. The next time we see him is on the roof of the Brookhaven Hospital. He literally just seems to appear out of nowhere and pushes James through a weakened fence. You know, kind of bullyish, but whatever. Next,
that was a dick move.
Yeah, that was a dick move.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we can't have one recording without saying that was a dick move now.
Yep.
And that's quite all right.
Part of our contract now.
Yeah. Next, he chases James and Maria through an underground corridor, which, by the way, to this day, always scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because that part is just so tense. Anyway, he chases him through an underground corridor and kills Maria with a spear, as for some reason he does not have his great knife anymore, as the elevator doors close. You can also catch a painting with Pyramid Head in it at the Silent Hill Historical Society called Misty Day Remains of the Judgment. Now, there's always been debate about whether or not James is imagining this or not. There's been it's speculation, but for shits and giggles, we'll just say it's there. You can also catch Pyramid Head throughout the labyrinth, where you can also pick up the great knife, which, by the way, while it is the strongest weapon, it is the shittiest weapon conceived. It's like, okay, yeah. You stay there. I'm going to slowly lift up this weapon and kill you with it.
It's pretty much there just for the purpose of, it's like a novelty item practically.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to use if you can find a enemy that's like slow moving enough to use it on.
Yeah. Or if you get one that's like not knocked down, but they're not quite dead yet, just like like one final overpowered kill shot. Also, little fact that always kind of got me was that when you're in the labyrinth, while he will occasionally chase you, if you look at the map, the map forms as you walk through it, which really just kind of blew my mind, because it was just like the first time I ever played that. Mm-hmm. It's like, wait, there's no map? I have to actually walk through everything? Oh shit.
Hate not having a map.
Yeah. The final confrontation comes at the Lakeview Hotel with not one, but two Pyramid Heads, and a fight that can only be described as anticlimactic at best. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Just before it starts, however, James realizes his own weaknesses. Both Pyramid Head and Maria were used as a constant reminder of what James did to Mary. I also say, spoilers, that the in water ending is the true ending, and I'll tell you why. James, in my opinion, was too upset and devastated over what he did to Mary. He could not live with the memory of, if you have not played Silent Hill 2 yet, cover your ears. He couldn't, I just don't want anybody to get pissed at me. He couldn't live with the memory of him killing his wife, so out of guilt, he kills himself. However, the town does not let him get off that easily. My conclusion? James becomes Pyramid Head as the embodiment of physical guilt, not just for the town itself, but for other unfortunate souls that happen to enter. Now, we go into Silent Hill the arcade. Now, for those that don't know, this is a rather obscure title, a rather obscure game, because it only came out in Japan, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think it only came out in Japan. There's no kidding ourselves. This is a very subpar spinoff. It's just flat out bad. From the direct-to-DVD story to the atrocious voice acting, and I mean like House of the Dead bad voice acting. However, one thing is a constant. Pyramid Head. I believe this is the first time we see James as Pyramid Head, as he is coming into his own as the character. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why do I say this? What are you smoking? I will say because of one major thing. The timeline. In the official Silent Hill timeline, Silent Hill the arcade takes place immediately after Silent Hill 2. So this at least makes sense and is at least a possibility. Okay, now we're going on to Silent Hill Homecoming and the shitty movies. Okay, I'm gonna group these. I'm gonna group these three together because they all share the same common theme: guilt. Pyramid Head's existence is the same as it was in Silent Hill 2 to punish the guilty. In Homecoming, Pyramid Head, not the boogeyman, he's fucking Pyramid Head.
Thank you.
Acts in the same fashion that Pyramid Head did for James. In other words, okay, just for the sake of argument, Boogeyman is to Alex as Pyramid Head is to James. Not necessarily on a bigger scale, because he only appears a few times, but the relevance is still there, in my opinion. In terms of the movies, granted they kind of fuck it up a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just a tad. Dahlia uses Pyramid Head almost like a summon from a Final Fantasy game, in my opinion, from what it looks like, because she uses her own guilt for allowing what the cult did to Alessa as a kind of catharsis in the very nature of him existing. This would also explain why Pyramid Head suddenly turns into a protector for Heather / Sharon / Alessa. Whatever the fuck her name is at that given point in time. So that is my Pyramid Head theory. You may write all of your hate mail to me.
Well, I never got that Pyramid Head is like Dahlia has anything to do with Pyramid Head in the movies. I personally think that's all Alessa. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is just the impression I got. I thought, Pyramid Head was sort of like, well, of course he was her protector in the sequel. In the first movie, I think he was just sort of a result of all of her negative feelings. It's one of her ways of lashing out at people.
Yeah.
And I think maybe in a sense, Alessa was that scene where Pyramid Head shows up when that woman is going to start throwing rocks at Dahlia, and Pyramid Head shows up and rips her skin off.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry to cut you off. In that movie, in my opinion, best scene of the movie.
We know some people really hated that character, so they actually laughed when she got her skin ripped.
Yes, I remember. I remember seeing that in the theater. And when Pyramid Head ripped her skin off, the place literally uproared in applause.
That's fucked up. What is wrong with you people?
Hey.
But anyway, I think that was because Alessa actually didn't want anything bad to happen to Dahlia in the movie. She wanted to punish everybody else, but not her mother, because mother is God in the eyes of a child, as they love to repeat over and over.
Yeah. Well, see, the only reason
I think that was kind of Alessa sort of defending Dahlia from Anna.
The only reason the big conclusion I gathered as to why Dahlia was the one that kind of summoned him. I get that's the only word I can say.
I can kind of see why you might think that, because she points or does something kind of weird right before he shows up.
She kind of puts her fingers up to her lips and kind of points out, and then all of a sudden all of a sudden shit. It's at that point shit starts getting weird.
Yeah, but I mean they don't. At no other point in the movie do they say anything about Dahlia having any kind of power or anything. So I kind of don't think, just my opinion, I don't think there's necessarily anything there. But it does look weird, and I can see how people could come to that conclusion based on just how it looks there. I personally just think that's Alessa doing all that. But.
Okay, so. All right, so what about him in the arcade version, the arcade spinoff?
Fan service.
So it was like it was like not even a chance.
I don't really. I mean, I think that's an interesting headcanon you have going, and I'm trying not to sound condescending or anything.
Oh, Tony thinks he's smart. On the head.
No, but I mean, it's fine as a fan theory, but I don't really see how you've proven that James is Pyramid Head.
I think that okay, the town has I would say that the town itself is a character
Yeah.
in the so the town is aware prolifically about what James did. They're not the town is not going to let him take the easy way out, which is why I think the in water ending is the original, is the real ending. It's because he tries to take the easy way out, and then that's when the town's like, no, we're not gonna let you get off this easy, and him becoming Pyramid Head I see as kind of punishment, or further punishment.
Yeah, I mean,
It's bad. I mean, look at it this way: it's bad enough that he he goes there, he comes to terms with what he did. If he just went there and come to terms with what he did, that's all well and good. But the fact of it is, at the end of the game, he's still the man is just emotionally, to me at least, the man is emotionally gone. Like he's just hollow. It would be very difficult, if not impossible, to recover from something like that. In my opinion.
Well, I mean, that's a good enough reason why In Water could be canon, or In Water could be the most likely ending. But I don't see how that leads directly to James being Pyramid Head. I just don't.
Maybe it's also kind of the fact of it is, it's like I said, the town is not going to let him just take the easy route out of getting away from everything. So
I get that. I just don't see how that equals Pyramid Head is James becoming Pyramid Head necessarily.
Because James is still riddled with guilt, and Pyramid Head is basically guilt personified. So, if anything, it would maybe not be the exact same one, but he would become like another version. Because that Pyramid Head that was in Silent Hill 2, that was unique to James.
Right.
And if you watch throughout the games, I'm talking like Arcade and Homecoming, his appearance does change. I think that when I say like Silent Hill 2's Pyramid Head is unique solely for him. Silent Hill the Arcade is James as Pyramid Head when he's coming into his own, coming into his abilities. He's not quite as powerful as his predecessor, and he's coming into a trying to get his bearings. When it comes over to Silent Hill Homecoming, he's gotten a fairly good grasp on what's going on, but for one reason or another, he almost chooses not to harass Alex as much as he was harassed during his time.
It's kind of funny because one of the, I don't know if you knew this or not, or if this influenced your decision or not, but one of the bad endings in Homecoming involves Alex becoming a Pyramid Head.
I actually did not know that. But see, that to me, that just adds more,
Homecoming did it isn't necessarily a good defense.
I know, but I'm saying in my opinion, it adds credibility to my theory. It's okay, because to me, the In Water ending is the bad ending of Silent Hill 2. That's the worst ending you can get. So it's okay, this is your punishment. for the bad ending. You know, that's just how I see it. I mean, people are going to disagree with me.
Yeah.
More than likely, and you know what? That's fine. That they don't have to. They don't have to like what I say. They don't have to agree with anything. These are my opinions.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing necessarily saying you're wrong, but I don't think there's necessarily enough saying you're right either. So.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
I mean, I have no. I mean, if I had definitive. I guarantee me. Well, look at it this way: if there was definitive proof about this, it would have already been taught. It would have already been proven.
Right.
You know, this is like evolution. It's a theory, but we may never know. So
pretty much, that's what it comes down to.
So yeah, that's kind of what that's kind of what it is. I mean, I have my theory. I think it's sound enough, and I stand by it.
Okay. Fair enough.
Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.
Don't tell me what's the guy's name?
Alex?
Alex, thank you. Okay, first I said don't tell me, then I asked you what it was. Okay, Pyramid Head.